The beast is back. Top maverick of hair loss is right here in your space. You cannot escape me. You do not have the power to press pause or stop. You only have the power to press subscribe. And let's face it, even if you don't, I'm still going to show up in your video feed. You're gonna see this face. So whether you subscribe, it doesn't matter. You're gonna watch my videos anyway, because no one, and I mean no one, does as many hair loss videos as I do. I didn't say they were good, I just said no one does as many of them. With that being said, where's my phone? Because my phone has an app that shows me the comments coming in which I decide, what should I do a video about right now? Well, I wear this shirt that I made 20 other videos with. Okay, so I made a video called, oh, that's funny, speaking of these glasses. Oh, and that's right, because some people don't like the glasses, so should I take them off now? What's funny is I could put on my actual new reading glasses here. There we go. Okay, these are my new glasses, by the way. Should I do a separate video about that? Does that need to happen? All right. The video is called I'm Too Sexy for My Sunglasses, Silver Blue by Steve Madden. So it was just talking about those sunglasses because people kept making comments on them. All right. Hey, these don't have quite the glare that my other glasses did. That's interesting. I paid for them not to have that, but I wonder if I could actually do a lot of my videos wearing glasses. Makes me wonder. All right. Speaking of what this video is actually about, though, I'm too sexy for my sunglasses. Okay. Felix Neiman. I like that name. Here's what he said in the comment. Quote, on my right temple, my hair is getting back a bit. On my right side, everything's normal, and in general, I have a small forehead and a juvenile hairline apart from my right temple, and you can barely see that it's, quote, receding. Can I send you a photo? And the answer is always no. I don't want anyone ever sending me a photo. I never want to be responsible for assessing anyone's hair. Go to the barber, go to the doctor, most importantly, go to the barber. I'm not interested in looking at pictures, because ultimately, have you heard the saying about how it's more important to teach a man to fish instead of just to give him a fish? And that's what this channel is about. I'm a mentor. Remember, you know, I am Mysterio and you are Spider-Man, and that is a reference to Spider-Man Far From Home, that movie, because Jake Gyllenhaal and I are about the same age, whereas, you know, Peter Parker was supposed to be a teenager. That's relationship. Okay, with that being said, my comment back then was small forehead, low hairline equals won't go bald young, because that is definitely an observation I've seen. Men who have lower foreheads, really smaller foreheads and lower hairlines, typically tend not to go bald. That's a generalization that I have seen in my own life. So, and then I said, your other temple will likely catch up eventually. Norwood 1 is not a sign you're going bald. Let's talk about that. All right. Let's talk about Norwood 1. Oh, I guess I'll take these off now that I'm done professing my professorship. All right. So here's Norwood 1. If you were to really look at an aerial view of it, you could see how the temples go back. But as long as you were looking at a guy that had a Norwood 1 from the front, it would just be straight across. You would see no sign that it was going back until you were to turn sideways like this. And that's what I was at age 17. If you want to look at the video, search my channel for, I got a perm when I was 17. I think that's the name of it. Just search it and you can see actual VHS tape of me at age 17. I got a perm and you can clearly see my temples had already gone back at age 17. And here I am, how many years later? Because now I'm 38. So the whole point of this video is Norwood 1 is not a sign that you're losing your hair. It is a sign that you are getting closer to, you know, finishing puberty or whatever, being a man, because men have temples that go back. It's very odd if they don't, actually. Even men who do seem to keep a straight out cross hairline, typically, if you look at them this way, you can see it's gone back to some degree, typically. And what happens is for teenage boys or guys in their early 20s, they start seeing their temples go back and they think that that means that they're balding, and it doesn't. And I'm going to stretch this truth even further. It doesn't mean it less true. I'm just stretching the concept. Same thing with Norwood 2. You could be Norwood 2 and it doesn't mean that you're going bald. So that means not only would your temples go back further, but also specifically your hairline is going to look more like a V. It's going to have a point to it. And that itself does not mean that you're going bald either. That's just more of the maturing hairline. It's not until that you start noticing that your hair is actually thinner on top like mine is, and or that instead of a V, a pointed V with angles, you're actually rounded off here, which is how mine is. It's rounded off instead of just being a perfect V shape. It's turning more into an M. It was what it is. When you get to that stage, that is the slippery slope of balding. Now, with that being said, does that mean that I'm going to have no hair on top by the time I'm 50? I very well could have most of my hair on top and still maybe pull off a hairstyle still similar. It's possible. If I don't care, because my hair is not my identity. In fact, if anything, internally what I perceive more of my identity is not having hair and shaving it off. I think that's the best extension of the best avatar of who I am. So the mistake that so many guys make that are new to my channel, they think that if their temples start going back in their teenage years or 20s, that means they're going bald. Nope, it's just a maturing hairline. They also make the mistake of thinking the moment their hairline starts being straight across and it starts going up, but as long as there's those 90-degree angles, they still think that means they're going bald. No, that was me undeniably at 24. That's how mine was. And again, I'm 38. So again, how many years have passed and I still have this much hair? So it's not until we get beyond Norwood 2, where it's starting to round off hairline up here like mine is. It's not a perfect point. It still kind of looks pointed here, but it's rounded off there. That's where we're getting in the territory of, if that happens to you before age 35, there's a good chance you will be, losing your hair sooner. For me, where was I at age 30? I still was arguably Norwood 2, but then the diffuse thinning kicked in. By my 30th birthday, that's when I noticed it. And, it's been almost 10 years now, well over 8 years since my 30th birthday, but I still am progressing further in my mild case of balding, but it's something that even that brings up a point. At what point do you not care anymore? The answer is the earlier the better. For me, by my mid-20s, I no longer cared if I went bald young. It just wasn't a part of my identity. And I made that video talking about fear. It's not that there are things in my life that I don't want to happen. It's that I don't dwell on those things. I live my life instead of worrying about things that haven't happened yet. And I got to that point in my mid-20s where I stopped caring about that. And it just so worked out that I still have this much hair. But if I didn't, I was more prepared. And that's the whole idea, the whole concept. So hopefully, if you're watching this video and you're Norwood 1 or Norwood 2, I've given you hope today that ultimately you're not necessarily going bald. But hopefully I've also reminded you that the sooner you can accept the fact that your hair is not your identity, the better off you are. The easier it is for you to not worry about something that hasn't happened yet, aka fear. Again, I acknowledge there are things in my life I wouldn't want happening to me. But those aren't my fears because I'm not thinking about them and dwelling about them. There's a million things I wouldn't want to happen to me. Dwelling on them makes them fear. Dwelling on them, that fear leads to anxiety, which leads to depression and all those things. But the moment you start facing your fears and say, you know what, okay, I might go bald and my life's going to go on and I'm going to learn to reinvent my identity to deal with that. Okay, that's who I am. The sooner you can do that, the better. So for this video, I've provided a lot of you with some good news that maybe you're not going to be going bald anytime soon. But also, if you are going to, there's still hope there. See, my channel is about hair loss hope. I am not a salesman who is selling you some kind of product to save your hair. I personally do not believe there is a hair loss cure. I believe if there was, you wouldn't be watching my channel. You probably wouldn't even be watching a channel. You would just go to the store and buy the thing that saves your hair. I believe we were designed, some of us, with DNA already from the moment we were born. It already determined whether we were going to be balding or not. And it's ridiculous for us to think that we can somehow change our hair loss destiny. The only way we can change our destiny is to change the way we think. To not fear things that haven't happened yet, but ultimately to be psychologically ready for them if they do. And if they don't, you end up like me and you still have this much hair at 38 and you haven't been wasting the last couple of decades worrying, oh no, I might go bald. I just feel this video is not complete until I'm wearing these. That feels better. I need to make more videos wearing these. This feels great. Okay, your comments right here.